day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful day. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello and thank you for joining me. I'm your host, Tammy Tubbs, and I'm excited on today because without an education, I'm telling you, your life most definitely would not be as purposeful as it could be. So my guest on today, Dr. Brock Talley, he's all the way here from Holly Springs, Mississippi to empower you, to encourage you, but to educate you on how important an education really is in the life that we live right now. It's like everybody is doing something, but I want to ask you, are you really living on purpose or are you just existing, doing whatever from day to day? Hello, hello, hello. I finally got you on the set. I got to touch you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I tell you, I feel old. You know why? Because your mom was my first grade teacher. So I'm like, that's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you've grown, matured, and you're doing some phenomenal things.
Thank
Russ
you.
College, I mean, God is just taking you from level to level. And I tell you that the people that lives that you are in contact with, the young people, their lives are changed forever.
I appreciate
They
that.
love Dr. Talley.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
And so just share with us who you are, what you're doing at Russ, and just how important education is in today's society.
Sure. Well, again, thank you for allowing me to be here. I really appreciate it. Brock Talley, originally from Starkville, Mississippi, but currently working at Russ College, Holly Springs, Mississippi. Serve as the vice president for enrollment management there. Supervise about 6 or 7 units for the college. Manage about $14 million for the college as well.
Wow, you're doing it.
Well, you know, God has really been in the blessing business. Russ, we're a small school, about 1,000 students. Students from 13 different states and 9 different countries.
That's
so a really
amazing.
diverse student body, and I have the opportunity to speak at different colleges and universities, conferences about the importance of higher education, the affordability of higher education, and things of that nature. So I appreciate this opportunity as well.
Amen. It's a pleasure because, you know, my daughter is graduating.
Yeah.
And so we have to make sure that our children and others in the school system, the district, that they're prepared for the real world. You know, we can teach them, but television, the reality of it has their mind kind of clouded. And so they need to know that in education, a trade, you have to have something to survive in this world. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I think one of the challenges with this generation is everything comes quickly. Technology works quickly.
Yeah.
Everything in life is expected that it will be a quick turnaround. And in education, many times it's a delayed gratification. You have to wait, work hard 4 years to get a bachelor's degree,
Yeah.
do another 2 years to get a master's degree, however long, you know, depending on what PhD program you get in or whatever postdoc program you get in. So it's delayed gratification.
Right.
But stats still show
It's worth it.
that is worth it.
It's worth it.
That it's worth it. You know, those who go to college tend to perform better academically, excuse me, not just academically, but financially as well. So now it's not a 100%, but you do want to put the odds in your favor. You know, and I guess the other side of it is nationally, federally, there's been a lot of money pumped into trade school, going to get into a trade. And I think those things are great. However, if you break your arm or if you mess your back up, it's going to be hard to utilize that
Your
trade.
life changes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So it's nothing like getting that education up top in the brain.
Right. And it also helps them to be disciplined.
Absolutely.
You know, the 4 years of consistency and setting goals. How important is it for them to set goals for their lives, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, you know, 9 months, a year or two? How important is it to have goals for your life?
I think it's extremely important. But not only do you set those goals in your mind, but you have to write those goals down and give them a timetable as well.
Right.
I think a goal, without putting a timetable on, it's just an idea.
Right.
But you have to put a timetable on when you expect to accomplish these goals, these dreams, these ideas. So that's when it becomes really manifest. That allows you to speak it in existence, and seeing something does something for you.
Yes.
When you can see your goals, you can see yourself successful. I think that's the first step in becoming successful at whatever you want to do. You have to envision it within yourself first.
Right. What do you see as being something that's common when you have freshmen that come to Russ College? What's the first thing that really stands out to you the most?
So I think the two most important days on a college campus are new student orientation and graduation. When students come on campus, they're afraid, don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
They're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, but really not knowing what's going to be next.
Yeah.
They've seen TV. They've seen the good side of college. They've seen the bad side of college. They're afraid of student debt, but they know I need a college degree.
Right.
They've heard those who haven't gone to college talk about horror stories that they've heard. They've heard those who have gone to college, but our community, what I've seen more than anything is those who don't believe in them.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm the first person in my college, and people at home say I can't do it.
They've given up on it.
Absolutely. And I think that's the beauty of going to an HBCU.
Right.
We know that it takes steel to bend steel. So for me, in order for a student to put the odds in their favor to accomplish their goals and their dreams, you need to look at someone who looks like you. Sit in a classroom with someone who looks like you. I can identify when a young man talks about being pulled over by the police officer and being accosted. I can identify with that. But if you go to another institution, I'm not sure if someone can. So I think it makes the total difference where you can go to a college where people look like you, a college that was founded for you from the very beginning. Russ, we're a former slave auction block. Founded in 1866, 1 year after slavery.
Wow.
So I think that's the story. And our students, they can feel that same blood and energy that ran through those former slaves running through them as well.
Yeah, and then because it's such history there, they're able to, even when they feel like giving up, walk through the library.
Absolutely.
You know, walk through the campus, and you feel
Absolutely.
the love, the encouragement of just saying, nope, I can't give up. I
Absolutely.
can't give up.
You got 3,000 ancestors depending on you. You know, you have people who've sacrificed for you to get to where you are.
Right.
So you can't give up.
Yeah.
It's bigger than you.
Absolutely. And every once in a while, we need a push to keep
Absolutely.
us. Because if somebody tells you they never felt like giving up, I think they're lying.
Absolutely. I know they're lying.
Has there been a time where Dr. Talley felt like, you know what, I'm throwing the towel in? How did you encourage yourself?
Absolutely. But I think the beauty is, and it wasn't even me encouraging myself, because you know these times will come, you surround yourself with a community of encouragers.
Absolutely.
A community of people who believe in you, a community of people who can pour into you, but you pour into them as well. So I have a fiance. She's a phenomenal young lady. She's from Macon, Mississippi, right outside of Starkville. And she went to Ole Miss with the med school at University of Mississippi Medical Center. My mom is a great friend, but I also have friends who know me when I take the mask off.
Right.
They don't know they know me outside of the professional Brock.
Right.
They don't know Dr. Talley. They know
Right.
Brock and
The Q Dog Talley.
Absolutely, absolutely. So they can get me back centered.
Right.
And I think you need that.
You do.
People who you can be yourself with.
Right. If you can't be yourself, I don't think you need to consider them to be friends. If you have
Absolutely.
to put on a facade every time that you're around somebody, or you just can't let your guard down, I don't
Absolutely.
think you need to call them friends. It's just
Absolutely.
just in passing associates. Hey, how you doing?
Absolutely.
Nice to meet you. Good to see you. You know, until next time. So,
Absolutely.
One of the things also that I loved about Russ, the family unity that you feel.
Yeah.
Why is that so important, that when choosing a college? Because there are some parents who are watching us right now whose child is a senior, and like every parent, because my daughter's a senior, you're praying God position them in the right place, order their steps. Why is choosing a university or a college that has that family tradition, that family structure important for a young child?
Sure. I think everything, whether that's college, relationships, jobs, everything is about fit. Finding that thing that works with you,
Right.
That thing that was built just for you. I tell students all the time that I can go into the shoe store and I can have my favorite designer, favorite color, favorite shoe design, just like I want it. But no matter how nice of a shoe it is, if it's not my size, it won't fit.
Won't fit.
And even if I try to force it to fit, I may be able to use it to get to my destination, but my feet will be distorted. My feet will hurt.
Yeah.
It'll pain me. My back will hurt with trying to get there.
Right.
So you have to find a school. There are 1,092 schools in this country, colleges in this country. You have to find one that fits you. If you want a big school, you want a small school. You want to be close to home, far from home. Liberal arts education or state education.
Right.
So you have to find what's going to work for you. And again, that goes back to those goals. Those goals will help you identify what college is going to be the best for me. Because it's not about starting college. It's about finishing.
Right. And you know, one of the things that I love how you said the fit. You'll know it.
Yeah.
You don't have to force it. Sometimes it's financial need.
Yep.
And you'll get blessed with a full scholarship. So just kind of share some insight of what Russ offers for students who may be still seeking or just believing God for a full scholarship.
Yeah, so I think we're the most affordable school in the state of Mississippi. Some may say we're cheap, but I don't think there's anything cheap about us. I think cheap has a negative connotation with it, but we're very affordable. Russ is $14,200 a year. That covers housing, tuition, and tuition. We throw books in for free, so none of our students have to pay for textbooks. You know, that's a huge expense within itself. There's no out-of-state tuition fee either, so those students who don't live in
That's
Mississippi,
a blessing.
they don't have an additional fee. But if you have a 22 on the ACT and a 3.5 GPA, we'll pay for everything for you. That's a $59,000 scholarship. I pay for your housing, your food, tuition, tickets, athletic games. Students have a 3.3 and a 20, they'll get 12,000. 3.0 and a 17, they'll get 10,000.
My God.
But just because you don't receive that doesn't mean you can't get money. I don't know if you remember growing up, Lou Rawls used to come on TV raising money for black colleges.
Yes.
That was United Negro College Fund, and there are 37 colleges that the UNCF supports, and we have a number of students who get scholarships from them every year. So even if you don't come to Russ, look at UNCF as well as an option to defray that cost of tuition.
Right, right. And that's the blessing of it. We don't want money to stop any child from living their dream, because there are some kids who dream of just going to college.
Absolutely.
You know,
and even if you have to take out a loan, it's an investment.
Right.
It's not just arbitrarily taking out a loan.
Right. You know, and you have to be the one investing yourself.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you just take a leap of faith just to make sure that your dreams come true, because if you don't, no one else will.
You got to have some skin in the game.
Right.
You can't expect to accomplish anything by just hoping and wishing. I think even in the Bible it says faith without works is dead. So that's an equation. You got to have faith and works, not just faith.
Right.
It won't move without the works.
You're sitting there waiting for it. You have to do something. Apply for the application.
Absolutely.
You know, apply for the scholarships. You have to put one foot before the other. That's amazing. What advice would you give to a parent right now whose child, you know, is at the bottom of the barrel? Because you actually, and this blessed me, one of the young men that I met, I don't know if I shared this with you, he shared how there were several other universities that he was considering.
Sure.
But you traveled to his home. I want to say, was it Chicago? I can't remember where it was. Yeah. But you traveled to his home, sat down at his table, and told his mom, I'll take care of your son. Trust me with your son. Because he wanted to go to college and he didn't want to be in debt. And that was so impressionable. I was just like, oh my God, you know, who does that anymore? Now everything is automated. Push one for this, two for this. And you never get to sit down face to face or even have a conversation. And he said he knew from there, Russ was the place that I needed to be.
Yeah.
You know, so what led you to just take off and just go visit this young man and his family?
Well, now, I have to be honest with you.
You probably do that all the time.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure
absolutely.
it's natural for you.
So Eddie Robinson, former football coach at Grambling State University, winningest college football coach in the country, he would talk about the importance of making a personal connection with families, and especially when you're asking someone to leave a big city like Chicago, come 9-10 hours to the south.
Right. Mississippi.
Absolutely,
at that.
Mississippi. And Mississippi still has a negative connotation with minorities.
Right.
Rightfully so.
Absolutely.
And so there, for me, it's about making parents feel comfortable. Parents know they'll get a quality education any college they go to, but they want to know, is it affordable and will my baby be safe?
Absolutely.
And so that's what I wanted his parents to understand, and all of our students' parents understand. Your child will not only be nurtured and cared for, but they'll be taken care of as well. And you know, if you're not safe, you can't focus. If you're not safe, you won't be able to perform well. If you're not safe, you'll be off track.
Right.
And we've been doing this for 153 years, sowing into the lives of young people. And for us, it's a ministry.
Wow.
It's an opportunity to change lives. It's an opportunity for when society tells us that students who don't score well on standardized tests don't have a place in this society, don't have a place in higher education. That's hypocrisy. You know, that's not true. And we've been able to take students in 4 years, propel them to excellence.
And then they find their true gift at Russ, I do believe. I've heard testimonies, you know, I read and research and, you know, where they said I couldn't, and I get to Russ and I have, you know, the librarian who said, oh, baby, come on, let me show you this. They take them in under their wing and they nurture them and they feel the love and the compassion, so their dream becomes a reality. I have to succeed because I have somebody in my corner. And every once in a while, we just need to know that somebody cares.
It's easier to walk down the trail when the trail has already been blazed.
Absolutely.
But it's hard to be a trailblazer. There's only one Harriet Tubman. There's only one Rosa Parks. There's only one Martin Luther King. But there are also people who are able to do better, like us, because they've blazed the trail.
Right.
And I think that's what our students are able to see.
Yeah.
We teach the same curriculum that they'll teach at any other institution, but you learn about Imhotep, who's the first black astrologer.
My God.
You learn about, you're able to see yourself in the curriculum. So you have, and here's the other side. We teach our students that you have an obligation. This degree is bigger than you. you have an obligation to go back and to give back to your community, sow into someone else. This has to be a domino effect. Give to someone else, and that's what Christ calls us to do.
Right.
You know, you're blessed to be a blessing.
Yes, and that's what it's about.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. I know some of you are saying, Russ College, see, you were just empowered, inspired, and educated, because you just never know what's in your back door that's waiting for you. God wants to bless you right where you are. So if some parents of you are watching me on today, just tell them, just step out in faith and just go online, fill out the application, and see what God does. We'll be right back after this.
You should totally talk to him. No, I don't know. No, I'm scared. I mean, but you're so.
Life is passing by so fast. Say goodbye.
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
Hey, we're back, and I'm sitting here with Dr. Brock Talley. I love him so very much because not only is he sharp, witty, but he's making a difference in the lives of young people by taking out what I call out of the norm actions to make sure that they know somebody loves you, somebody cares, and guess what? If you don't dream, no one else will. Now, that didn't happen just for you. From a young kid, you had someone that was very strong-willed and saying, Brock, you're going to do it. Brock, this is how it's going to be done. I remember a conversation, and she's probably going to get me for saying this, but it's the Tammy Tubbs show, so I can say
It's your show.
Absolutely. I think you were probably, oh my goodness, probably 5 or 6. And she said, oh yeah, I've already talked to Brock about sex and the words and those kind of things. And I looked as a kid, I was like, really? She said, you have to teach your children before the streets teach your children. And it just resonated with me. So she was just, I've already trained and taught him because I don't want anyone else to teach him before I do. And then I have to try to go back and erase what they've, shown him. So from there, it just blew my mind. So I just want to, what wisdom has your mom given you over the years to help you to be the powerful man that you are?
Well, I'm definitely appreciative of my mom, and that's God. I think, of course, you can't choose your parents,
Right.
But I think God gave me the perfect mom, the perfect father, the perfect grandmother that I needed for me.
Right.
But one of the things that stands out most from my childhood is we all know growing up in the black church, you have to get up and say your Easter speech, your Christmas speech, Mother's Day speech, Father's Day speech, whatever.
It's not an option. You have to
It's not
do
an
it.
option. But I remember my mom saying, whenever I would go up, she would come to the front row, and I would mess up my speech, start over. I could be at the very end, start over, do it right, slow down, pronounce your words, say it with enthusiasm. And sometimes I would be in front of our church saying it 5 and 6 times over and over again. And that was embarrassing as a child, but I appreciate it now.
Wow.
I think it put a spirit of excellence inside of me that, hey, you want to be the very best. You want to put your very best foot forward, and that you want to be 100% every time, and I appreciate that now.
Yeah, and you value those small things to help you to be who you are, because a lot of times, and I'm sure you see this in the profession, people do just enough.
Absolutely.
Just to say I did it.
Absolutely.
But when you are set apart and you have the spirit of excellence, you go above and beyond.
Absolutely.
Because you want to stand out.
Absolutely.
I don't want to fit in with the crowd. I want to be different.
But the crazy thing is, I think we're institutionalized to think that way to just get it done.
Yeah.
I remember being in school where someone would turn in a test early, and the teacher would say, "Ooh, you must be smart." It doesn't mean it's right.
Right.
You just turned it in
And
early.
they want to be the first person.
Absolutely.
That's every kid. I want to be the first
Absolutely.
one. And probably have missed the majority of all the
Absolutely.
questions on the test.
You haven't checked anything. You haven't, and that's what happens in life sometimes. We're so eager to be the first that we've skipped over a step.
Right.
And I've had to check that in my personal career. I had the opportunity to be an executive at a college or at a university at 24 years old.
That's a
Prior
blessing.
to that, I worked at Alabama A&M University, state school of the state of Alabama, and was a junior level executive there. 22 years old, and I saw myself being a college president. The average age for a college president is 62.
My God. And that's
And-
the time you should be retiring.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I wanted to do it at 30.
Yeah.
And
It was just that ambition.
But the problem was, I realized I was trying to skip steps, and there are some things that you have to learn along the way.
Yeah.
There are some things that will prune you along the way, and even though it doesn't feel good, sometimes you got to go through a process. So I think that's what God has taught me more than anything, is just to trust the process.
Yeah.
Trust me and trust the process that I have you on, and it'll all work out.
Isn't that amazing how sometimes we just want to get here to get there? And it may appear that our peers are moving faster than us. Like, what are they doing? I'm not doing.
Right.
But when God has his hand upon you, he knows how to position you and get you in the right place at the
Absolutely.
right time. And even though the title may be different, I've learned that he will allow the salary. You could be the president and I could just be just a simple executive, but I'm making more money than you.
Sure.
Isn't that amazing? The
Absolutely.
favor of God.
Absolutely. Favor ain't fair.
It's not, but I love it. I love it because the Bible says that, hey, favor surrounds you like a shield. And I take that literally, that favor surrounds me like a shield. I wake up every
Absolutely.
morning. God, I thank you for your favor on today.
Absolutely.
Somebody's going to bless me because I showed up where you have ordered my steps to be.
Absolutely.
And I get blessed. You know?
Absolutely.
I expect him to bless me.
And you know, the other thing about that is, I think we're so quick when we start doing well, start doing things well, we start shining the light on us. And somebody say, hey, you're doing really well in your career. You start shining that light. Yes, I'm doing great. I went to college. I'm doing all these things. Well, in turn, we should say, should turn that flashlight and put it on God.
Right.
God has given me the ability to do these things. God has inspired me. And I think when you turn that light on God, God will put an even bigger light on you.
He does.
And he'll order your footsteps.
Yes.
He'll show you where to go, who to take with you,
Right.
and how to get there.
Isn't that amazing? And
Absolutely.
then put you on a platform
Absolutely.
that you can't even imagine. Have you walked into a place and like, okay, how did I get here?
Every day.
How did I get here?
Every day.
You didn't apply for it. They called you looking
Absolutely.
for Dr. Talley.
Absolutely.
Like, how do they know me? God did it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
And it has nothing to do with you.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Not so. What's next for you? Well, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? I'm sure married,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah. Well, within the next 40 days.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Praise God.
And Brittany, she's phenomenal.
Amen.
And I tell you, it's true what they say, that when you're connected to someone powerful,
Yeah.
someone who can pour into you, again, someone who you can take the mask off, and they love you anyway.
Yeah.
They love you when your breath stinks.
I'm telling
They love you
you.
when you make mistakes, and they're still
Yes.
there to pray with you and encourage you. So I think it's a beautiful thing. So that would be the first step, and hopefully have a child.
Amen.
We have a child already, Bryden, and but hopefully we'll have another child, and just walking into favor. Of course, we want to grow professionally.
Amen. Amen.
I don't know who's watching, so I don't want to say too much.
Praise the Lord. Now I got to go back
because sometimes you
know,
talk yourself out of
absolutely.
things as well.
I got to say this because people are watching. Never rewind back. He said they already have a child. You have loved on her daughter.
Right.
Is that correct?
Absolutely.
As if and that's the way it should
Absolutely.
be. But at the same time, when you all become married in the next 40 days, you're saying, hey, we want to have another child. So
Absolutely.
somebody I felt that in my spirit.
Absolutely.
Don't rewind it back. I played it so you could hear it clearly. And that's one thing when you become one. It's not my stepchild.
Absolutely.
It's
It's
my
mine.
daughter.
Absolutely.
And you said that we already have a daughter. I
Right.
mean, just so gracefully.
Well, the thing for me, marriage is when two people become one.
Right.
So your bills become my bills. Your habits become my habits. Your child becomes my child. My
Right.
child becomes your child.
Right.
And anytime there's a separation in that, especially going into the marriage, you already started off on the wrong foot.
Absolutely.
I can't love Brittany without loving Bryden.
Right.
And so when I make a commitment to her, I make a commitment to her
That's a
daughter as
package
well.
deal.
Absolutely.
We're one.
And if
it's
you're,
not two.
and this is how amazing it is. And I talk about this in my book that I said after my previous relationship, I said, look, the next woman that I date, her parents have to be married. I don't want her to have a child. I named all these things.
You had your list.
I had my list, and God gave me the gift that I wanted, packaged totally different than I asked for.
But I'm grateful that you recognize the gift, because
It's the
sometimes
gift,
we
not
make
the packaging.
That's what you have to understand. You have to see the gift, and not, it could be a newspaper.
Absolutely.
But the gift that's on the inside, and Brittany is
Absolutely.
definitely a gift to you.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Absolutely.
That's just amazing to me.
Yeah.
How sometimes we'll miss God because it doesn't appear.
It didn't look like I thought it was going to look.
Yeah.
It didn't act like I thought it was going to
Yeah.
act. And sometimes, I even wonder, did I pick up the wrong gift sometimes? But
Return to sender.
right.
That's the best part of it
Absolutely,
all.
absolutely.
So even with your professional career, your relationship personally, you have to take some downtime just for you. So what words of wisdom would you give to professionals? Because you can get burned out. As much as you give, you can get burned out easily. What words of wisdom would you give to someone who may be feeling burned out right now, and they're just like, I'm at my wit's end. This is not working for me.
Have a foundation. Remember who you are. Whose you are. It's so easy to get lost in your professional life and who everyone else says that you are. But you have to have an opportunity to take that off. You have to have an opportunity to hang that coat up and to and just sit in your own person.
Yeah.
Have people who value you around you. And I think the other side of it is I'm blessed by sowing into others.
Yes.
So encourage others. Bring someone else along the way. It's not just about you. And I think you have to have that personal time as well.
Yeah.
Both Brittany and I both have very demanding jobs, and we have our own businesses going, and we're doing 3 or 4 things at a time. But every day we have about an hour or two when we get home to. I do my thing and she does her thing, because you have to wind down.
Right.
And my thing is just sitting out. I like to sit outside on the porch.
Right.
And and just relax. And she likes to go in and turn Sarah Jake's on. She just came back from a Sarah Jake's conference. And she I don't know, plays in her hair in the bathroom. I don't know what she does in there. But those are the
That's
things.
that girl time.
Yeah,
When we kind of revamp and get it all together, and then we get convicted. I need to go apologize. I shouldn't have said that. It's those moments.
And you have to have that time to yourself. And even in your professional life, your personal life, your relationships, you have to have that time where you can just enjoy you.
Yeah, you have to find the balance of it all, because you'll get burned out. And I'm sure you've read where suicide is at an all-time high, depression, because people are trying to do so much in this fast society, and they want to get rich quick.
Absolutely.
And that's not healthy.
And if I can, I think the other thing I'd like to add to it is it's so easy that when you start accomplishing things professionally, to develop an ego.
Oh wow!
And that ego can damage everything that you've had, that you've worked for, everything you've accomplished.
Yeah.
But ego is an acronym as well. And ego stands for edging God out.
Oh, wow.
When you develop that ego, you begin to push God out of things and push God out of your life. And you didn't realize that God was the one with you the whole way.
He got you into place. You didn't do it, but most people say, I pulled my own bootstraps up and made it. No, you didn't.
Absolutely. When Peter and Jesus were walking on the water, the beauty of that story for me is that Peter is saying that God walks on things that I'm drowning in. The things that will pull me down, God is able to walk on top of those things. But when you develop that ego, you push Jesus away.
Right.
And then you begin to drown in those things that will consume you.
Right. And it's like when we push him away, he gets out of the way. He
Absolutely.
said, you think you got it? Okay. And it's like all
Try it.
hell breaks loose.
Absolutely.
It's like your finances are crazy. You can't build on in the workplace.
Absolutely.
You're agitated. He said,
Absolutely.
you did that. And
Do it on your own.
I mean, it's like, and you see that so many times, like, wait a minute, you were the first African-American to do it. How could this happen? Ego. It's so common. And that's why you have to stay rooted and grounded in the word and have a connection of people around you that keeps you humble. Every once in a while, you need somebody to pop your bubble.
Absolutely.
Pop it. Bring it back down to earth.
Old folks say you got beside yourself.
Yes. Start smelling yourself.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like, wait a minute, you forgot you from Mississippi?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You forgot where you used to live? And you always have somebody that will remind you to bring you back, into the reality of who you are.
There you go.
That's amazing. I tell you, this has been wonderful. I just pray Godspeed blessings upon you and those that will come into the new year, Russ College. And I pray blessings upon your marriage.
Thank you.
The baby that's to come.
Yeah.
I just know that God is going to supersede your expectations.
I hope so.
I'm just happy to be connected. Thank you, Miss White. It's not White anymore. She's
Avant.
married.
Yeah,
Avant, because
yeah.
she'll get me. You better make sure you correct me. I love her, and I thank God for the impartation that she's given me of just having that boldness. So many people have contributed to my life, but I remember as a little kid, just her being bold.
Sure.
And when you see it, you're like, I want that. I want to be able to do that. And I thank God that I stand in it. So again, I just say thank you so very much. It's been a pleasure. Wow. Well, you guys, I pray that you have most definitely been educated on why an education is important. Finding time for yourself and dream. It's never too late to be what God has called you to be. Just step out on faith, walk on the water, and be everything that God has called you to be. I love you all so very much. God bless you, and I'll see you next time on the Tammy Tubbs Show. Until then, be blessed.